All right, good evening, folks. If you can hear me, if you could let me know in the chat box, please. All right, great. Well, welcome back. I think we've gotten to know each other pretty well the last couple of courses. Remember, I am recording this. It may end up being tomorrow morning sometime, but in Moodle here, right here where we see the information about tonight's meeting, probably tomorrow I'll take that down and I'll put up a recording of this class meeting in case you need to refer back to it sometime during this course. So welcome to, I guess I probably should start off with welcome to EDA 612, using data for instructional decision making. Adjunct Professor Dr. Dustin Broombaugh. I guess if I preface anything, this class, EDA 612, pretty much goes with EDA 614. I believe it'll be your next class that you take. Dr. Goins had mentioned that he hopes to make these two classes just one long class, one 15-week class in the future, but for whatever reason it's separated. So where the work that's done in this class, basically it continues right on in 614 pretty seamlessly. So I'm trying to think of some things beforehand. Everybody in this class has already done the form for the first day. I appreciate you all following up and doing that. If I can't preface enough, uh, please check your Georgetown email a couple of times a week. As you know, I don't bug you guys much through email there, but the few times I do, I definitely need to get a hold of you. Usually, what I try to do is if I don't get a hold of you with your Georgetown one, then I go into that form for the first day of class where you put either your work or your personal email in there, and I email you that way. Typically, when I'm trying to email you, it is one of a couple things. One, an assignment's late a little bit, and I'm reminding you, hey, I'll still take it usually. I prefer you stay to these deadlines, but I can work with you from time to time. But hey, what's going on with this assignment that's missing? Or probably the most common one is the administration at Georgetown. Um, if you do not log into Moodle and take some action, they will they get worried. You are basically have the ability to be, unfortunately, administratively dropped. So that's why, at minimum, every 7 days, I would say more often than that, but they run a report every 7 days, and if it shows that you haven't taken some action in our site within that 7 days, they reach out to me and say, hey, listen, John Doe or Jane Doe, what's going on here? And that's usually when I try to email you. Um, so basically, make sure you're logging into Moodle regularly. Check your Georgetown email regularly. By all means, hopefully you've earned my trust by now. My email is on the screen there. It's also on the syllabus. If you run into questions, concerns, listen, send me an email. If we need to set up a meeting, a phone call or something, then we definitely can. All right, so what I'm going to do now is basically quickly go over the syllabus. Once again, my contact info on there. Again, my email address, my cell number is on there. I'd prefer to use my email if at all possible. It's on my cell phone. I check it a few times a day. So in most cases, I get back to you the same day. I posted, I think I've emailed you guys at least once, maybe twice, and I posted it at the top of our site even before the Moodle site was available. But the book that is required for this course, and let me take a step back. So this course was designed. This is, I believe, the second time it's been taught. Dr. Goins has taught it before. He's the one who's designed 612 and 614. So I've taken his course I put my own little bit, wasn't much, but of a little bit of a personal touch on it, his syllabus, his book, and all that stuff. So some of the other courses that we've had together have been my development. I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm just, I guess, being transparent. That I think this looks like a good course. It's well set up. I just put my personal touch on it. Um, I'm sorry if you're having issues, Judy. I don't think it's on my end. I have full Wi-Fi on my computer, so I don't know if maybe it's on your end. But anyway, make sure you purchase the book if you have not already. Please do so as soon as possible. Obviously, you need access to live text. I don't know that we'll be, unless I'm told differently, I'm not seeing in the course that there's much that you have to post to live text. If you were to look in live text right now, you don't have to, but you will see that for our 612 class, you'll see something that administration at Georgetown's requiring us to do is to check, update, and give you feedback on dispositions. Dispositions are the characteristics in which you exhibit, your work ethic, your ability to meet timelines and stuff like that. So I will do that. If there were to be some deficiencies on that, then you would be referred to your advisor to go over some expectations and stuff like that. But so I don't think you have to do anything in live text, but that is in there right now. That I believe the only thing is I'll have to do it from my end, and you'll be able to see it though at the end of the semester. To my knowledge, all of the field hours will take place just by completing the assignments in this course. If something were to change or I get more feedback, I'll definitely let you know. This here just lists all the class objectives. I'm trying to get down the meat of the stuff. Okay, so this is basically just a tentative course outline. It basically mirrors exactly what's already in Moodle for weeks 1 through 7. Those are just the topics and various things that will be provided for instruction and things like that for the week. All right, the evaluation method. This kind of, and I'm going to go into Moodle when we get done here, but we're going to begin with the end in mind, meaning once we're done here, I'm going to go down to week 7, our last week of the class, so you can see that culminating project and work my way forward, because everything we're going to be doing in this class is going to be hopefully gaining you knowledge and some experiences for you to do your begin drafting your capstone project and your literature review. So I hate to, sorry for reading to you, but there are a couple of things in here that I'm going to read as we go along. So the anchor assessment for this class consists of planning a 60, 30, 90-day school improvement plan through a collaborative process involving the professor and the district contact. Performance evaluation will be based on A, an assessment of plans submitted, B, critique of documents presented in an anchor assessment, and C, written reflections and self-assessment. Working with your administrator, choose one of the mandatory school improvement plan goals from your school. So your school should have a school improvement plan. Choose one of them that were already on there, one of the goals that's already on there, but we'll get to how you're going to choose that here soon. Complete a proposal, including a statement of the problem, a literature review, a review of the available data, and a proposal for solving the problem, including the methodology to be used, use of school resources, and the assessment plan. So basically, just like other classes where the anchor assessment in those classes, I have listed some specific areas that need to be completed. That has been done in this class as well, and we'll go over that in just a few minutes. This is the rubric that will be used. It's also on the syllabus, page 5 of it. All right, some criteria. The school improvement plan problem, it should be issued. It's well defined and focused. So I guess what I would say is once again, do pick a goal that's on your current school where you work school improvement plan. If I guess I'll leave open that it could need some rewording. Just because it's worded that way on your school improvement plan, there's the potential that it could be reworded. You'll need some supporting data and information, the literature review, and then obviously you're going to develop a school-wide school improvement plan. You're going to take some action on this. You're going to develop some actions on what to do to meet that goal or help work toward that goal. And obviously we're going to include some resources that you have available at your school. The grading scale hasn't changed from our other classes. 93 to 100 is an A, 85 to 92 is a B, so on and so forth. So here lists all of the different grades. The assignments and the quantifiable points for each of those. This is just like, again, a 7-week class, with an exception of the final capstone proposal / literature review. That's worth 100 points. That's worth 100 points of the 300 total. There is a root cause analysis that you will be completing, as well as the qualitative research study. Each of those are worth 40 points, but everything else is worth 10 points each for 300 points total in the class. Most weeks, you'll have a discussion board and at least one other assignment to complete. So there's a lot of work to be done in here. So of any classes that we've had together, this isn't one that you're going to want to fall behind in, because it'll snowball. There's a lot of things that need to be done, and once all those things are done, then you're going to be able to use that knowledge to complete your proposal and literature review. This just describes each of these in detail. Some of the basically the mandatory assignments for the class that Dr. Gomes has developed. Please read over those at your leisure, but everything is described in Moodle. So let's go ahead and go over to Moodle now. Once again, I'm in Moodle. I'm going to scroll down to week 7. Remember, begin with the end in mind here. So the last week, the only thing that you'll have due will be that capstone proposal literature review. On here is the Word document of the template that I'm going to go through here in a moment. But that template, basically, it already has the headings for you. You just have to fill in the information for each of those headings. And I also, what I've done is, from the class that Dr. Goins has already taught, there's 2 PDF documents of 2 different examples of from students who, I can't say they necessarily got a 100% or the full 100 points for it, but they did very well. In my experience, it's easy to meet a target if I can see or read one that someone else has done that's a quality version of that. So please, those 2 examples, I have redacted people's names and schools and information to leave that school and that person confidential. But please review those. Please notice, or please pay attention to how they've formed their proposal. Hopefully that'll help you meet the target of performing this final project well. So like I said, week 7 is the capstone proposal literature review. So let's just go ahead and look at the template. So the template, once again, the only thing I would add is you probably need to add a title page to the beginning of this. But put your title. Your on-site supervisor should be your building principal. I realize those building principals are very busy, so it needs to be your building principal. But sitting in from time to time, if the assistant principal needs to, that's what that definitely can be okay as well. You do need to form a committee. Probably wouldn't be uncommon if this is this. It can be. It doesn't have to be, but the same committee, if you want, that we've used, that you've collaborated with in some of our other classes. Preferably you, the head principal. Definitely can include any other administrators, assistant principals, guidance counselors, but definitely the head principal, a few teachers, and try to get at least one person that doesn't work in the building, a community member, a parent, if possible. Here you need to state the problem, provide some background and the rationale, list the objectives, Your research design, that will be the design that will come from the questions that you're going to develop for your qualitative research, for the survey that you're going to develop. Definitely develop your timelines for how you're going to meet this goal. So these timelines should be futuristic. So basically, I would plan to begin working toward completing this goal this semester, and obviously it's not expected that it be done this 7 weeks, but that timeline will start this semester and work toward the future. Your literature review, just like our last class we had together, a minimum of 5 pages, not including the references. So include a literature review. Obviously, in that literature review, part of the 5 pages should be the introduction, the body, the conclusion, and then some requirements that Dr. Goins has put in here. 5 sources be peer-reviewed, 3 sources be from educational journals and magazines, and 2 of those can be from like websites, presentations, blogs, podcasts. You can have more than 10 though. All right, and I promise I'll stop here shortly and give you guys an opportunity to ask some questions. But back to Moodle then. So if with the end in mind being your capstone proposal, and I know I'm throwing a lot out at you. That's why I'm recording this that way. Looks like there are 9 or 10 of you in this class right now. You can watch it again, or those watching the recording right now from home at a later date. You might need to watch this again, but the big thing obviously is that capstone proposal literature review at the end. The other 6 weeks basically gets everything ready working toward that, with an exception of the literature review. In this class, we're starting off with the first week. The biggest discussion is around just identifying and locating your school improvement plan, providing a brief narrative of it. Week 2, all right, you take a look at a case study, and you take a look at some of the resources that the Kentucky Department of Education provide for school for systems for continuous improvement and school improvement plans. All right, week 3, and please plan ahead on this. Week 3 is January 22 through 28. It can be before week 3, but it should not be after. That's when you need to hold your first committee meeting. In that committee meeting, I provide a list of things that you need to complete. So complete those items in your committee, and obviously you're going to upload a Word document in the form of the template that's provided here in this PDF document of what your committee should do together for your first committee meeting. Week 4, all right, we spent some time at looking at root cause analysis. If you click on the root cause analysis, all right, it provides you some information as well as some details about the assignment. All right, week 5 is when you start looking at how you're going to form your research, your survey, how are you going to get that together. There's a few videos to watch, an article to read, and then an assignment for this questioning data worksheet. And then lastly, week 6 is when you're going to hold, once again, it can be a little earlier if you need to, but you couldn't do it much later because the course will be about over. It's when you're going to hold your second meeting. Once again, some details that you need to accomplish in this meeting, and then your qualitative survey. So again, my goal here is not to overwhelm you. My goal here is to break all of this up into hopefully bite-sized pieces that if you stay at the pace of the course, that you should be in good shape. Like I said, week 7, hopefully you're taking some of those details together all along, working on your literature review, and your final project be due on Thursday, February the 22nd. Any other assignments, that's a Thursday at the end of the course. All the other assignments, please note, as in yellow at each of the weeks. All the other ones are just due Sunday night by pretty much by midnight each day. So, okay, folks, I've done enough talking here. That was my intent for the class. So let me give you all an opportunity to ask some questions. Please feel free to, um, speak up and use the audio if you'd like, or type it in the chat box.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
I sure can. Go ahead.
Okay, when looking at the SIP, do you want the 1617 or 1718? Because there's still, like our school, it was just due the very 1st of January, so it's not like out to the public, it's not on a website. My principal shared like the goals that she has for that because they had like a district Google document shared, but I don't have like the actual 100 and whatever pages of the SIP.
So the one that was completed in January, you said it's not available to the public?
Not that I know of. I mean, am I wrong in that? I mean, is there a place where I can go to, I mean, is that on KDE where I look for that? I asked her, is that on our website is what I should say.
Well,
the 1617 one is.
Okay, and I'll leave that up to you and your committee. In my experience, what happens a lot of times is they're uploaded into Assist. I take it back. They changed it to eProve as a website. Once again, not knowledge that necessarily for this class, but it's submitted to KDE through a database called eProve, and a lot of times they put that on their website. So I will leave that up to your principal. If there's a goal on there that you guys want to work toward that's from the 16-17, that is perfectly okay. I would prefer it be the 17-18 one, but if there's not a link out there or it's not on your website, then you probably need to go with the one from the year before.
And Natalie's saying the same thing with her school as well, because it wasn't due until January 1. So I haven't seen anywhere where it's been put. She told me it wasn't on our website, and she said, I don't know how to share the eProve document with you. So
Then the 2017 one would be fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. It looks like, let's see here. Leslie says, this week's assignment says to describe our project from 605 and 611. I have not had 611. That's perfectly okay. Just describe what you have, what 605, what that entailed, and all that, if you would, please. Good question. Judy, if yours is out on leave for surgery, please include, if they're going to be back in time, he or she when they return. But in the meantime, either get an assistant principal or whoever is filling in for him or her. Yes, Leslie, 16-17 school improvement plan is fine. Okay, good question, Matt. Good clarification question. So depending on you couldn't start on your literature review today because you need to. The first step would be, back to week 3. When you're going to be submitting a title and stuff like that, your committee needs to, one, get formed together, but two, hone in on a goal that they're going to focus on. So your literature review will focus on whatever the content is related to that goal. Is it, probably a common one, gap reduction. Okay, well, then you would do your, if your goal had to do with a gap reduction, when I say gap reduction, I'm meaning, students' achievement, there's a gap between, just overall students versus, ethnicity. Is it by race, by special education, things like that? Then you could do your research, your literature review on, gap reduction and student achievement, so to speak. So hopefully that helps, Matt. Like I said, you won't be able to begin on your literature review until you and your committee form a goal. Also, I would encourage you to take a look at those examples. I think that might clear it up. One of the examples, remember, your literature review is only a minimum, not including the references, has to be 5 pages. The one example, the student, it's okay if you choose to do this as well, but you don't have to. That student's literature review was quite lengthy. He or she went very, very in depth. Let's see, Katie says, scroll down here. Our last CSIP was completed in 2013. We are getting ready to go through accreditation in March. Katie, are you in a public school, Katie? Because if so, there's
I'm in a Catholic school.
okay. Then my answer would be yes. I was like, whoa, if you're in a public school, you're in a world of trouble. Okay, if you're in a private school, then my answer would be is yes, to go ahead and choose one from there, unless it's not relevant anymore. If it's not relevant, then I would say you and your committee to go ahead and determine a goal that you plan to put together as when you develop it together.
Okay, and Gwen, I think it was Gwen said that I guess their school improvement plan, if I heard her right, it's 100 pages. Ours is 1 page, not even a whole page.
Well,
I mean, obviously you see it this week, but
yeah, yours probably might just list the goal. In the public schools they use I'll call it a template that here's all the data to support the need and actions and all that type of stuff. So you'll probably, if when you view some other people's, we'll take into consideration that that we may do some things differently from public to private. In public schools, it's mandated, required from the Kentucky Department of Education that we go through that process and do all those things. So you're not doing anything wrong. You just have to live within the confines of what your school system or your school does. So no, don't think anything of it.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Matt, I'm just reading some of your follow-up comments. Looks like it makes sense to you, and yes, so yes, I'm not providing any articles for you all. Depending on what your goal is, you'll have to find those as well. Any other questions from people? All right, so back to week 1. Remember, we're staying. Hopefully everybody stays on pace. Due this coming Sunday, I believe Sunday should be the 14th, by midnight, you should do the school improvement, SIP, school improvement plan assignment, as well as watching the video and doing the discussion board by this Sunday. And also, please remember, I guess I haven't said this, but it's similar to other classes, you are allowed to work ahead. If you crack out week 1 tomorrow and you want to go ahead and jump into week 2, that's fine. Just realize, please, that I'm not going to go look at some of these assignments until probably that Monday or Tuesday after it was due. So, keep up with that. I'll put this recording back on here tomorrow morning, where you see all the yellow here. And I guess I'll just finish with, there's my email address again if you need to get a hold of me. Will you explain this in more detail at some point? Yes, if I need to, I don't mind to at all. Maybe it might be good here in a few weeks that we get back together. Do one of two things. Either we get back together or I do a recording going back over it. After you have dove into the course for a couple weeks and had at least at minimum your first committee meeting, I think this capstone project and literature review might have sunk in a little bit more. So I get it. I've thrown a lot of information at you at once. Let it sink in a little bit, get acquainted with the course a little bit, and then maybe if we go back through it again, that might be helpful. No, Natalie, we won't meet every Thursday online. We'll meet definitely at least I'm sorry, Leslie, I didn't see the first part of your comment. 5 resources must come from uh, published research studies, peer-reviewed publications. We explain this at some point. Okay, I just saw the bottom part of that. So peer-reviewed, do a quick Google search of peer-reviewed, but basically it'll explain what it is, but peer-reviewed is basically when other scholarly people have reviewed that source as well. I'll try to, in the next day or two, add some information on exactly how you know if it's peer reviewed or not. That way you'll have a little bit more information to make sure that you're right on that. So let me send that information out. Then Natalie, no, we will not meet online every Thursday. We'll definitely meet together at least one more time, if not more. If I see that students are running into issues or have a lot of questions, then obviously we will meet again sooner rather than later. But at this point, we'll meet at least one more time together as a class. All right, folks, I'll stay behind and answer any other questions that you have for as long as you need. Otherwise, please feel free to contact me. We'll work through all this together, and look forward to working with all you again this 8-week, or I'm guess 7.5-week semester. Have a great evening. I'll stay behind if anybody has questions. Have a good evening. Good point, Gwen. Thank you for sharing.